Hello, hello. Hey, Clyde and Graham, how you guys doing? Um, got a number of things to cover today. While we're waiting for everyone else to at least say hello, um, any comments or questions or anything like that you got going? Um, by the way, too, hi Paul. Uh, while we're waiting, I'll tell you about something that is trying. I'm organizing now. I'm I'm going to coordinate the times that Nicholas gave me for the number of watches they're going to do per month. I think in July and August they're going to be doing. I think it's about 10 a month. So that's 20. And what I've got to do is that the very first one, 00, goes to the Grand Prix. Then after that, um, we're I'm going to put the numbers from the lowest to the highest for the ones that are going to Asia, Australia, and Canada. And so that'll be the next group. And what I want to do is that I want to have a way of organizing that so that I'll contact the guy who Michael Margolis had for us and coordinate with him on that. I didn't put that on there, but it's something I thought that would be uh, sort of. I've been trying to figure out in my head how to work that out. So anyway, hey Pastor and Hader and Donald and Steve, Homer, how you guys doing? Okay. Well, listen. Today, what I wanted to do a couple things. Um, I got a very interesting. Well, let me sort of how things happen. Um, for a while now, I've listed myself down for three watches, but in fact, there I only really had two, and had another person for the third watch, really. And this is what happened. Some time back, there was this one guy who sort of left. He wasn't happy with certain things, and so he dropped out. And so I thought, well, maybe he'll come back again. Maybe he'll change his mind. And I wanted to keep that slot open for him. But at the same time, I wanted to have someone to take over that watch because, it had to be paid for. And I didn't want to have a big hole in there in our, so what I did, I got a third guy, not a third guy, but someone to take his place. And I figured, and I told him, I said, basically, I want to do this and still leave the door open so this other guy can come back. And if he doesn't, you can still get it. I'll get it this other way. And if he does come back, then you'll still get your watch. And he put up the I think our agreement was the new guys, all of us did really, was $7,500 for a watch, and so that's what he did. Well, to make a long story short, I wasn't able to get this other guy to, I really asked him several times, "Not, come on, that's, we're, join us," and he just didn't want to. He said, no, forget about it. So I thought, well, what I better do is to get this thing straightened out, especially because I realized that if it was for me, there'd be, I'm here in the US, this guy's in China, so I better get it all squared away. So I took care of that. And then the thing that happened was that I noticed that there's was the guy who dropped out had ordered two watches, and I didn't catch that initially, and so we were up sort of one watch short. I mean, the money for one watch short, and so I put some money aside, and I decided, well, I'll pick it up. But I thought, well, I better give everybody else a chance to say, hey, I want another watch, if they do. Otherwise, I'll pick it up. So it's not a problem. It was just something, one of the things that came up. Now, right before I started here, there was one of our members said, could he get one more watch? So he's going to get one more watch, and everything's back to even again. And it's just really amazing sort of stuff all over the place. Okie doke. Let me tell you where we are. I think last time I was talking about actually making the entry into the GPHG. And when I contacted them about it, I said, when can I do this? They sent me the magic. They have these magic portals, and they have these one-time codes. And you use a one-time code, you can get into a portal. Hi, Owen, where you can do this. So Owen started working on it, and what I noticed was that the list of things they had, the way they had it set up, I noticed that one of the winners, the last year's winner, had this list of things they did. And I thought, well, if I were a judge, this is what I was looking at. You're looking at these judges, and they've got all of these different watches and all of this stuff to look at. And a lot of it's going to be hyperbole. And in fact, they said, we don't want this to look like a press release. And so Owen and I, we're still working on it, though. But so Owen took all of it and changed it. And it was so good the way Owen had done it initially. I said, Owen, you took Owen out of it. And that was one of the things we need. So we're still working on it. So we're going to have our list. And so we're going to have this really very good writing that Owen does. I think we're very fortunate along those lines. And I resurrected my role of an editor, which I've done more than I want to think about. But working with Owen's stuff is very simple, and I think we'll have a really good write-up. And so right now, I got our portal all set up and reserved. So that's going to be the important thing. And I don't want to rush it, but on the other hand, I don't want to hang back too far on as far as getting our official thing in. Okay. So, okay, that's one thing. The other thing is on the video, I'm going to redo the audio, and I think I'm going to turn this away. I'm going to redo the audio on it. What happened was that I bought this software for a voice. I thought this is going to be great, and I liked it. After listening to it 5 or 6 times, I listened to this voice. So this is great. It doesn't sound like me or anybody else. But a lot of people said this is awful. It sounds like a robot. Well, maybe that's because it was a robot. So what I found. Talking with you guys and stuff like this, I have no problem with it. But doing audio on like a voiceover, man, that is really hard. And what I did with the robot was that I'd give it in little chunks, and it works out pretty well. So I thought, well, I'll redo it with little chunks. Also, Hader said something about he was doing some things on it. So, between redoing the audio with just doing a voiceover, but doing it in little chunks, I think I can come up with something passable. Hader's working on it. We'll see what he has too. The other thing, okay, Hader, yeah, Hader asked about getting a write-up. I send you I sent everybody you should have the audio on it, but what I'll do is that I'll send you the write-up on it, okay? What I'm going to do, one thing I had from the robot that I really liked was that it preserves all of the dialogue, so to speak. So it preserves all that. So when I'll undo that, I'll try it myself. I'll send it to Hader. Transcript, that's the word I'm looking for. I'll send it transcript. I'll use it and send it to Hader. Years ago, one of the things I had with my publishing company was that we made screenplays and had a lot of different things for that. And we used the old-fashioned uh, sort of 2-column screenplays that Hitchcock used to use, and so I was trying to remember all of the things from that misguided uh, uh, adventure. Anyway, now the other thing, this is what I'm going to do. On the write up, they on the entry form, they want it in English and French. And so what I thought I would do is that once uh, Owen's that part of it is just right, what I'll do is that I'll give it a Google Translate, and then I'll send it to a French speaker to clean it up. I mean, Google Translate has some funny wording in it that sound fine in English and terrible in French, and vice versa. But that would save a lot of time, and to do it, because like I said, I really like Owen's write up, and I think you will too. But we've got to get it. I don't want to lose any of that. At the same time, I don't want it to sound weird because of the Google Translate on that. So we're working on that. Now the other thing that I've been seeing is that, and I know this has been happening, and I'm not going to nag about it, but rather sort of talk about it and what we're going to do. We talked about this a little last time, and that is, when do we really want to say, okay, here's our watch, and tell everybody about it? Now, once we put it in, since I don't think so, Owen. we, Let me finish on what I did. I'm going to take that latest one you sent, put the Owen back into it, and then have that. Oh, if you want to set it out as a press release, um, let's let's do this. Let's do the let's do the GPHG first, okay, and then we'll talk about that after that. But anyway, I am convinced that between everybody we have here, we can really put together some excellent stuff for. I tell you, I got to say, in looking at the write ups on most of these watches, there is more fluff. I mean, just pure fluff in the write ups. And I've been on the National Science Foundation of where we get all of these applications for some kind of National Science Foundation project, and they're full of fluff. To tell you the truth, you want to see fluff. Uh, but one of the things we really appreciated was that somebody had said, "Okay, this is what we're going to do: 1, 2, 3, 4," and you could look at it, and then they would explain it. And I think that would be a good thing to do with what Owen has, is that we're going to have it, and then we're going to take out anything that looks like a press release or hyperbole, and yet have this same kind of smooth flow, and then also put in some points. Now, here's my view of a overworked GPHG judge. You're looking at all of this BS, and it's sort of, they say, is that there's bound to be a pony in all of this horse bucky, and we want to be the pony. And I think we can do it because I think that we have more experience in certain kinds of writing and reading, and really trying to understand our audience. That our audience is not Joe, I want to buy a watch, but rather these are people who are really smart about watches, and I think they would appreciate if they see a list of things, and then they can say, well, I'm going to see what they mean by that. Well, if like I said, the last winner had a lot of fluff, and to give you an idea of the fluff, like what we have is a big deal. We have a 43 millimeter case. Like, that's okay, but that sort of would go in a description, not in one of the main features of it. I think out of that entire list they had, maybe they had one thing new. Ours is full of great things. We have the movement. We have the two patented uh, Agonor features to it. We've got amazing case. We've got we really have an excellent watch. We have these things that we can list those, and then the way that Owen has written about them, I think at least whether we win or not, we'll really have a great write up. We'll have a good application for it. Okay, I think we should carve this press release to the highest level as much as possible. I say take the time to review everything. Don't worry, hater. We're doing that. Believe me. We're, we're figuring this one out. And so anyway, I just wanted to fill you in on that. I've been waiting and very nervous about getting even in the door on the for the applications. And when I wrote them, I sent everybody a copy of what we got back on that, and they said, "Well, you've been nominated." So I guess the people we've been working with are the right people. Okay, all right. The next, I'm going to skip this one and then come back to it. The next topic is called the Orphan Watch. I just told you about that. It was at the last second, right before I started here. I got this note. Says, "Hey, I want to buy another watch. Can we have one, please?" He's got it. So that's taken care of. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is people are starting to know things about our watch. Okay. Um, Hater, that's already been done. And also, too, I've been literally bugging and bothering Nicholas about getting feedback on our write ups and stuff. You know, please include anything. Um, okay. Abdul. Hi, Abdul. The news of the watch will definitely leak out sooner or later. Abdul, it's happening. And all of us, not all of us, some of us, we tell a friend or something like that. I had one guy send in an application to the 6801 group who knew one of the key elements in it that only the members of this group know. So somebody must have been talking to him and saying, "Oh, hey, we got Metal M doing our dial and everything like that," and he wanted to join. And I basically told the guy, I said, "This is only for those who are already in it." And I guess he figured he wanted to be part of it, but was left out. So Abdul, you're right, and I think importantly. Well, anyway, what do you guys think? I mean, it is like I said, I got this thing today that this guy wanted to know how much we paid for movement, and I was thinking mm, that kind of stuff. Do they need to know that exactly? I mean, we're not. And I told them it was a bespoke movement; they can't buy it anyway. But on the other hand, I don't want to say it's this and this and this in case just because I don't think it's a good idea. What do you guys think? I haven't heard any buzz, but not surprised it might leak. Yeah. Uh, some of you might not recognize the name, but I am actually Mr. Gumby. I am viewing this on my phone rather than the PC, so a different login, enjoying a nice pint of beer. Okay, Gumby's at a beer. Now we know where the leak is. He's at some bar. He's at a pub. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Rick. I mean, I just what they're doing, and I can't blame them on the one hand. Uh, the Chronode movement. Um, what's his name? Jean. Jean. Jean Louis or Louis Jean, something like that. The guy who Mojon, the guy who has the Chronode movement. he has those for about less than $100, with 100 people going in, and with only 10 people, I think he's got them for about $1,200. Well, ours was a lot more than that, and it's also ours. Nobody else can use that. That's the way Agonor is, and which I think is sort of cool. And I figured, so nobody really needs to know. Eventually, they're going to know how much the watch is, because we're going to post that as soon as we post the GPHG, because that's what they require. But we don't. There's no requirement that we say, well, the movement costs this and the case costs this and so forth. So at least that's my intuition about it. I mean, we're not finished paying for it yet. I would say that we should keep some of the info among the group. I'm with you, Robert. Yeah, good point, Robert. Micro bakery. Micro bakery. Hi, micro bakery. Agree with Robert E. Let's keep it capped until a couple of months later. Well, we don't have to ever talk about it. I mean, like somebody, if somebody wants to do a watch with Agonor, let them start the way we did, at 0.0, because we don't want to put in an amount that may not be the same amount that Agonor would prefer to charge somebody else. Let me put it that way. All right. Does everybody understand that, what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. Pastor, that's a good way to put it. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. No kidding. Even when it's out in the open, we don't have to give a breakdown. No, we don't. That's true. Um, yeah, I probably never. I mean, nobody else does. I mean, you go to some other watch company and say, what did you pay for this and this and this? I'm not going to tell you. they, I was thinking of going to Ophion and saying, hey, what did you guys pay for the Wooten Lannon and Caton cases? And then I thought about it. I thought, they're probably not going to want to say, because there is no way in the world that they paid as. I think they paid a lot less than we did somehow. Now, of course, they didn't have the same movement, the same complexity of the same complexity of a case. And I think the movement they used may have been a pretty standard size. And so they may have been something on the back shelf at Booten Lannon and Caton that they could have with that. And that's another thing too. I think yeah, you got it, Abdul. Uh, there's one other thing I think. Um, Beside the fact that other companies don't do this, I think it gives us a little more leeway at in some other kind of thing that we may be involved in. Is that to be known as sort of a bunch, if they deal with us, they're not going to be giving out the details of, sort of everything else about it. Yeah. Well, Robert, how about this? It came under 7,500, I think. Yeah, I think we're listing 7,500 as the price for subscribers. I think that was what we had. That's a subscriber cost. Hater, that's a perfect way of putting it. That case of ours, we got great case. We got to give great everything, and we have another thing that's sort of interesting. I don't think anybody has their little sub dial at 8:30. They may be at 8, they may be at 9, but not 8:30 or 8:45 or wherever ours is. that I think is something that, anyhow. Okay, let's talk about the remaining and known expenses. Um, I figured this out, and there were a couple estimates in here, and this may not be the total, but it's pretty close to it. The pending amount we have is $202,028. In the bank, we should have about 100 and let me see, we're about $5,000 off in the bank because we're owed 5,000, and I've got to get on a couple people with, hey guys, um, and so what we have right now actually in the bank is $108,737.88. So we're going to have around and you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I put over there on the side of the announcement the breakdown that we had and everything. And the amount that's going to be pending is $93,290.12. I think we had roughly planned about a $2,000 for that last payment we were all going to have was $2,000. I think right now that should cover it. Uh, we did go over, I think, the amount that we had expected of 7,500 and then 6,500. Uh, there were several reasons for that. When we started off, we just wanted to watch with no band, nothing fancy about it. Um, and we ended up adding a band, a buckle, a case, um, a lawyer. we had the we had that. So there are a number of things. Plus, Aganar, and they explained why there was a 7% increase in the amount that they had to charge us um, for the movement because their expenses went up. What they have to do, they have to order certain parts like wheels and things like that. And if theirs goes up, ours goes up. That's the way things work, and I know all of you guys know that. But anyway, you might. I tell you, it wasn't my time; it was my sanity. Oh, that's right, Pastor, a designer. We didn't plan on a designer. We figured, we'd simply go to. Yeah, we didn't plan on a lot of stuff that we didn't know about it. For example, I was so surprised to find out that Metalim, the people who made the dial, they don't make a hands. I didn't know that. You find out stuff, uh, and that's one thing. Though we all know so much more about this kind of detail. If we ever do anything like this again, I think we'll be a little better prepared. um, anyhow, so yeah. Okay, how does that sound so far? By the way, Hater too, of the group that you've got doing the voiceovers, are any of them in French? Are any of these guys French? We could have a French version too. Hi, Graham. Oh man, that would be cool. Get some. We were right is right. Yeah, that's one of the things. We're not quite over yet. We're going to have to. We've got the final mile to go. I got no idea. I'm estimating on the hands, and I estimated very high. Uh, I think the straps. I got that. That's pretty solid on that. See, one of the things that I think we've been able to do is that I'm always surprised at how many more people in their business want one of our watches. I mean, people who are, you know, And what I've told them, I think for some people it really helped us out. We can provide some of the things, but they're going to have to come up. I mean, those cases are $2,000 a piece. I had no idea that would be that much. And the movements, they're almost 4,000 a piece. So, I mean, that's seven, what, 6, 5. I can't. I got my shoes on. I can't figure it out. But the thing of it is that they've got sort of another thing that doesn't involve the customer, so to speak, that they can, like I'll trade you a movement if you give me 2 cases kind of deal. And so we'll work it all out and we'll get something. And then we provided some. And so that's a lot of goodwill we put in too. And it's a very economical, I think, little perk we could add. And I think that's worth it because those guys have helped us out so much. And there are ways that that's a lot you don't know about yet. Okay. Let's see, where else are we? Okie doke. Anything else that like I said, we're going to start off and I'll figure out the exact number that are going to Asia, Australia, and Canada. And then next time I'll be able to tell you exactly when they should be shipped. Here's the breakdown. First one, 00, goes to GPHG. And then Asia, Australia, and Canada. All right. Now, there aren't that many people. I mean, the total number of people who have watches going there, I think, are around 11 or something. I have it written down somewhere. But the number of watches are greater than that. And so we've got that to deal with too. And so if they have, like, let me see, 10 in July and 10 in August, that they ought to be able to start working on the next group in the next batch. I had planned to, or at least I thought of going over there, but I don't know. Paul, do we get the strap color thing sorted? You know what I'm doing? I had asked Matthew, because Matthew had brought it to my attention, and my feeling was that I've seen coloring things where the color of the band doesn't quite work with some other color they're trying to match it up to, and it just even a little difference looks crummy. All right, and so I had to rely on the Pantone numbers. Pantone 188C is Pantone 188C the world around, but it comes out differently on the hands and on leather, and so they don't look the same. And so this is something that people who have much better eye than I think we do about these things. So, okay, you guys figure it out. So I left it to them, if that's okay, Paul. And it's really hard to see because we don't actually have a hand. That's another thing I want to do next week. I want to start bugging them on the hands because I don't have a price from them. We got to get a prototype, and they gave me there's a spool up time of so much, and haven't heard from them since. And so I'm gonna sort of the way I contact them. I found out that the best way. Isabella Cheeler is the head of the company, and she's all excited with working with Agenor. I don't know what's going on there. But Nicholas told me it's better to contact through him. So I'm gonna contact Nicholas about that. I've been bugging Nicholas about going over our scripts, going over the general video, the first one, because the first video, whatever we don't like about our robots, the way he sounds or the content of it, at least I think Nicholas can say, well, take this out or put this in and things like that for our little video. And we can do that. Okay, I think that's about it. Unless, anything else you guys have that you think is important to go over. Yeah. Everybody good? Okay. Well, if something comes up, we've got the 6801 Facebook page. We got the Lyrique sort of group page on WhatsApp, and just shoot me or a message on either one of them, either to me directly or to the group on WhatsApp, and or through 6801 group. All right. Okay. Thanks, all of you, for coming along, and we'll get some stuff to go on. Have the great what's left of the weekend.